we always said that Brexit would very, very quickly reveal the reality to people that this is not a good idea. That what people have been used to as the norm for years has now suddenly been incredibly disrupted. We've had constant stories that we've covered on this channel of small businesses just either straight up giving up exporting, which has now cost them thousands of pounds in like the tens of thousands. We're not talking like a small number, because we've seen this, that they are losing about between, on average, 30 to 40% of their business. Now, if you are a small business and you suddenly lose that chunk of your business, that's a lot of income for you to suddenly lose. So this idea that the Brexiteers put out that, oh, if we do Brexit, nothing's really going to change, nothing's going to happen, these people warning you about all the frustrations that businesses are going to face, that's just Project Fear. Well, no. Welcome to Project Reality. And very often we have talked about what it's been like for British businesses having to face these realities of, well, now it costs us extra to send stuff to customers in the EU, which is costing them large portions of their business. Some have just stopped doing that altogether because it is so cumbersome. It is now no longer even worth sending stuff across the channel to sell, which is again costing UK businesses tens of millions of pounds in lost revenue. And that's just for British businesses. Now, what, might you ask, is the cost for, well, European businesses? Because bear in mind, this used to work both ways. And you've seen the exact same thing. You've seen a lot of EU businesses just go, well, Britain's no longer in the EU, no longer in the single market. We're not even going to risk the headache, because I'll tell you what, we've got still tens of thousands, millions of customers still in the EU, which we are more than happy to do business with. So this idea that they needed us more than we needed them is once again completely and utterly false. It always was. But what if you still want to buy goods from the EU? Well, recently, a German shoe manufacturer laid out the realities for what it means to export to the UK and to its British customers. And bear in mind, we've seen this very recently with eggs and lettuce. EU producers have just gone, well, yeah, I could send it to the UK, but now I have to do all this extra paperwork, which costs us money and time. And even again, with all the delays and all this extra stuff, there's no guarantee it could get there fresh, or it gets there with a much reduced shelf life. You've already got to remember, we are going through, which very few people are reporting about, a massive meat crisis at the moment, which is going hugely unreported, which is kind of shocking, considering the horse meat scandal that was a massive furore. And all that scandal of all this meat, that's Brexit. Like it's all Brexit related, because it's meat that is getting there late, that is not getting to the producers on time. So they're basically doing what they can to, well, sell gone off products. And it is because of Brexit. Plain and simple. So what did this German shoe manufacturer have to say? Well, again, they lay it out very, very, very clearly in this piece on their website. But before we do go into that and read about that, please do remember to click on the like, share, and subscribe button. And of course, down below, there are links to my Patreon page and an after link called Buy Me Coffee. And thank you very much to all the people who do help and support the channel that way. There's also the YouTube thank you button. And of course, there is the Pony Club down below as well. You can join too. So let's crack on with this one then. So It starts off with the title of Has Brexit Ruined Everything? Well, not everything, they say, but it has made things even more complex for our UK customers. So now you're imagining you're a UK customer and you're ordering shoes from this German website. Let's go through on what potentially the labyrinthian system you might have to do, or the extra costs you now have to pay. And trust me, this gets interesting. So, if you order shoes from us, there is a good chance that the UK authorities will send you a letter asking you to pay UK import VAT, which is about 20% of what you pay us. And customers before, and of course, customs before they complete the delivery. Some customers have managed to get their shoes without having to pay anything, but it is the norm to get that blasted letter. They are perfectly within their rights to ask you to pay UK VAT, but there should be no customs charges on your order. And this is where it starts to get interesting, because the shoes originate in the EU and there is an agreement in place that no tariffs should be charged on EU-made shoes. We have spelt this out to the UK customs people by way of the REX declaration on our declaration of preferential origin, which we place in a plastic envelope on outside of your shipment. This is where it gets fun. So, nevertheless, UK customs have been ignoring this declaration and asking our customers to pay 25 to 30 pound customs charges. So imagine you getting all that all of a sudden. You now not only get to pay your UK VAT, but you've also got to pay an extra 20 to 30 pounds on your VAT. And bear in mind, if you think about what the price of shoes, this is sort of a high-end German shoe manufacturer. So you're probably looking at £200, I think, is the bare minimum. Like they're their cheapest shoes from what I can see. But that's already an expensive pair of shoes. And now you've got to be paying that on top of all this. So at what point do you just go, well, why am I going to be buying from the EU? And of course, this doesn't really affect this German shoe manufacturer too much because, like I say, they've got plenty more customers available in the EU. It's just, if they want to send stuff, it's a faff, but they are making the choice that they still want to go through this. They're just informing their UK customers of essentially of what the realities are of Brexit, that if you order shoes from us, you are probably going to have to end up paying more for your goods. And again, it's the realities of Brexit. This is where it gets even more fun. So remember, UK customers have been ignoring this declaration, so remember that. They are incorrect to do so. So remember that. If a UK company charges you customs for this declaration, when you know you've got a declaration of preferential origin, which is there, then they should not be allowed to do that. But not so. So they are incorrect to do so. And if it happens, we urge you to protest these charges. Details of how to do this are included in a letter sent by Parcel Force informing you of what you have to pay. But unfortunately, you will need to pay all the charges they ask before making a protest. So before you can even complain, you've actually got to pay them the money to be able to protest these charges. And then there is no guarantee. This is where it gets fun. There is no guarantee that protesting these charges will actually lead to Parcel Force relenting and reimbursing you the customs fee. It seems to depend on the mood of the person handling the complaint, and a couple of times they have just denied the protest. But aside from customs and VAT, Parcel Force will charge you £12. That's £12 processing fee for handling all this complexity, which they are entitled to do. So again, that's even more cost to the consumer that they might not have been expecting to pay. We will try to ease this load by at least offering free shipping and handling to our UK customers. That's about £20 of burden easing. But you still get a VAT and customs invoice, which will be asking you to pay an additional £70 to £80 above what we charge. Sorry that we don't have any absolute certainty yet, but please do email us if you have any questions or queries. And of course, we're happy to try and help you with the protesting and complaining about these charges if necessary. So that's the reality. If you're ordering products from the EU, all of a sudden you've got this now. And if you have to pay this, well, all of a sudden you're looking at an extra stuff. I've recently ordered some models from a company in Italy, and automatically, because of Brexit, I am having to pay €20 extra above what I would normally pay. Normally, that wasn't there; it wasn't an issue. Didn't have to pay any extra, but because of Brexit, I'm now having to pay an extra 20 euros on top of what I'm already paying. So this stops. I mean, it's happened to me a couple of times when I've sort of been looking for products or stuff like that. I've had to look and double check, is this a European company? Because all of a sudden I'm now having to factor in there is going to be a higher delivery cost. And sometimes you have no choice but to go outside the UK to try and buy products. We've all been there. And sometimes you may not even know. You may go to Amazon, for example, and not realize that the seller that you might be buying from isn't actually a UK-based seller. So it can be really hard. And I guarantee you there are a lot of people out there that get stung by this. A lot of people out there that get stung by this, not realizing it. Like, say, you've spent again, take this example, you might have spent about £200 worth on a pair of shoes. All of a sudden, you've now potentially got to almost pay £100 extra just to get them. That's a lot of extra money suddenly to be charging. And as you can see there, it seems that Parcel Force are doing some really dodgy stuff. Certainly through that, and that is because of Brexit. That is allowing them to do that. That'll be actually interesting. Something I might actually take up with Dan Jarvis. That'll be interesting to see that what he'd have to say about this. But hey, we'll see. So yeah, as always, thank you very much for watching, and of course, we'll see you all next time. So until then, we'll see you all very soon.